And I'm a lot of people from the States. You're not here for both of us.
Hey, bless up, bless up. How y'all doing this morning? It's a beautiful morning. We got a little rain over here on Eco Nation. How y'all doing? My Renaissance, how you doing? Hope you made it through that storm. I saw your video where y'all got a little hail, so I hope you all made it through the storm. Grand Rising. How you doing, Gigi? Bless up. How y'all doing? Family man. What's the word, family man? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's doing well within you and within your life. Kathy B, good morning, good morning. How are you doing this morning? Auntie Bev, how you doing? What's going on? Hope y'all had a great week so far. We're getting ready to start off this week, and thank you so much for coming in and starting this week right here at Eco Nation with Eco Neighbor. And it's a blessing, yeah. It's a blessing to be here. When you think about it, it's so many times and in so many ways where we really, really didn't have the opportunity to just see this day. It is July the 23rd, and I forgot. I'm going to have to put that in my title because some people, they want different episodes of Eco News, and I was reminded to make sure that you put that sequence number. The sequence number is nothing but the date. So it'll be 7/23/23. This episode is 7/23/23. If you're new here, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for coming in. And this is it's news in a way, but then it's kind of like updates with Eco Nation, because Eco Nation, first of all, if you're new, I want to welcome you in and let you know that I'm Eco Neighbor, and Eco Neighbor is who is this coming in? Wait a minute, what we got going on? Oh, we got Gigi. Gigi always have to make her grand appearance. So she did a little bit earlier today.
Well, I was handling business.
She did a little bit earlier today.
I was handling a little business.
Let's see if I can get
Good
you
morning,
shifted
everybody.
over. See if I need to go this way, but I guess it needs to go this way. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we got here. Kathy B.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kathy B.
What's this? Is it Maze? Why? Maze?
Maisie?
Maze?
I just call her Maisie. Hey,
What's
Maisie.
up?
How you doing? Everybody all right? Y'all hear us okay? And see us okay? Everything all right?
Tanya's Pantry Farm 72.
Toya?
Toyas?
Hey, Toya.
I'm sorry, Toyas. And so, like I said, if you're new to Eco Nation, this is a place where you can be at peace, and we provide news on Sundays at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time, 9:45 Central Standard Time. And this news is news on our Eco Nation, which is our homestead. But Eco Nation, as I said before, is stretched further than just at a physical place.
Is it a concept, baby?
It's not just the concept. It's the mindset. It's the idea. It's the fortitude of all your dreams and your goals. It's a place of peace. It's a place where you will not be judged based on what you feel and what you think. It's a place where you can truly be free and express yourself and live in your all beautiful glory, because we already know you were perfectly designed to be a contributor to this beautiful thing called life.
All right.
So welcome in, and thank you so much.
How you doing, Brother Lawrence? How you doing, family man?
Brother Lawrence,
Auntie Bev Jones, how you doing?
Today we're going to start out with some of our news on this week. This week has been quite challenging. We had, as I mentioned before, I had my truck. We had a leak with the tire, right? And here we are. We got a 2-hour commute, and we're leaving, and the truck goes bump, ba-dum, 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 bump, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bump, bump. But we just got it fixed, right? They rotated the tires and all that good stuff. But come to find out, apparently my front end is in not the greatest shape. You know, we live off grid, we live in the woods, we live off road. We have created roads, and yeah, it's been a rough year for that old Ford F-150.
That truck.
It's been taking some punishment.
Yeah.
And the front end apparently is not the best because we found out that we had uneven wear. So I took it back to the shop, and they showed us the uneven wear. And so we rotated the tires again. We balanced the tires all out. It's much, much better, but we have some expected road bouncing. We know eventually that we're going to have to do some work on the struts and the front end. So we're going to make it. Boss Hog, what's going on?
Well,
what's going on, Boss Hog?
How you doing, Boss Hog?
Arkansas.
I'm just going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Before we took the truck there, the truck was fine. Okay? I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to leave it there.
Well, something to our beautiful queens and kings out there. Sometimes when you get work done, it's almost like a house, yourself, or any project. Sometimes when you have something that's been worn and used, and then you start going in trying to fix one thing, you run into something that was compromised when you start breaking things down. And anytime, if you all are used to working on anything, and especially with a lot of wear and tear, a lot of times you can go in and fix something. Like I remember at our old house, I would go in and try to fix some plumbing issues. Maybe we'll get a new refrigerator. So say we get a new refrigerator, we bring the refrigerator in, and then we get ready to connect the ice maker. And then we get ready to twist a valve, and the valve just keep turning. And I'm like, oh man, here goes something else we got to work on. Here goes something else. It was
almost like it exposed something like it.
Yes.
Hi, Felicia. How you doing?
How you doing?
Hi,
FR.
What is that?
How you doing?
That's Felicia.
Oh,
that's Felicia.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
but I'm not.
Don't hurt the harvest.
To you twice.
How you doing?
Don't hurt the harvest. How you doing? That's how it goes with companies. Yeah, I mean, look, y'all. One thing about it in life, I want you all to stay steadfast, be committed, keep pushing forward, because I'm telling you all, one thing I learned as becoming a grown adult is problems will arise. Setbacks will happen. You know, we got setbacks all over the place. Anytime you're trying to move forward, expect opposition.
Yes.
Anytime you're trying to do the right thing, expect opposition.
Absolutely.
That's just life. You can't push forward. Notice it say push. Wait a minute. Push. If you're pushing,
yeah.
What are you pushing against?
My goodness.
If you're striving, what are you striving against?
Be Family Vibes. How you doing? Good to see you.
If you're overcoming, what are you overcoming? You know, if you're rising, what are you rising? If you scraping and crawling, trying to get up, what are you doing? Think about it, y'all. What you doing?
Not the thinking man.
I'm serious. Just think about it. You know, if you're striving,
you're pushing forward. Tommy Bites, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you in the chat today.
It just happens with life, y'all. So don't give up and understand that that's just life. You know, every time I get ready to go and get some work done on anything, and I'm not finished with this story. It's more to come. Trust me. Y'all gonna see that this is just life. So we go and we get the is that my friend Tommy? Hey, how you doing, Tommy? How you doing? Be Family Vibes. How you doing? Welcome on in. So if we got the tire situation correct, the semi, we still got wear and tear, uneven wear. I'm gonna have to do some work on the truck to get everything right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to be a little bit more gentler with that particular vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking one day when I get ready to just go blow up, one day I'll be able to buy me a truck cash, and then be able to.
I'm gonna buy it.
What's up?
I'm gonna buy the truck cash. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy it.
I'm talking about, girl.
Okay.
What's on the other side of that door right there, girl?
You're so low down.
I'm sorry.
You're so low down.
Just certain things that just make my spine tingle. You know what I'm saying? Just make my spine tingle. One thing I do want to do,
Rambo,
is,
what's up, Rambo Green Hands? That's my brother. How you doing?
One thing I do want to do is
you want me to get okay.
One thing I do want to do is I would probably get another vehicle just to commute, and then have that off-road piece on there, just to do what it need to do. But we arrived home. We were probably we arrived home pretty late when we arrived. It was just at dusk. Had to feed the animals. Mm-hmm. We had to start the generator, get everything cooled off. Had to get the cabin for little Gigi together, right? We got the water, had to cut on the water and everything, because we try not to keep, because we still got a lot of water holes where we depend on water holes.
Yeah.
And let me tell y'all something. Be careful, you gardeners out there, you homesteaders, the water hose situation. Man, ain't nobody talking about it, but the water holes are not the same water holes we grew up with.
Our G Tribe members always talking about the water hoses, how the water hoses are not reliable. They're nothing like the ones that you used to buy from that place you used to work. Mm-hmm. They're nothing like that anymore. And so that's a conversation that we actually have in the private chat. About the water hoses, how they're not reliable.
And price has nothing to do with the quality of water hoses.
Not today, it doesn't.
I mean, it used to. I remember when I worked at this place.
Hi, Cheryl Faulkner.
Hey, Cheryl, how you doing? That's my boy. I like Cheryl. She's fly. She cool. She laid back. She's like a drink with no chaser. You know,
Rambo said they are rubbish these days and cost
very
more.
Rubbish.
Absolutely,
muy rubbish. I mean, this is the thing. They coming apart.
Wait, did you just say muy rubbish? You combined.
Yes, remix. Yeah, all of those languages rubbed into one.
Remix Spanish.
Won't you leave me alone? They understood what I meant. You know what I'm saying? If they understand what I mean, it's all good, The whole key is communication. We do slang, we do dialect and all that stuff.
We got it, didn't we?
Did you get it? That's the question. Did you get it?
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Understand the words that were coming out of my mouth.
I could do like this. Did you get it? I was teed off. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters. That we can kind of communicate, right?
Oh my gosh.
But we returned home that night after the truck situation. Got the water, got the generator, got everything going, and here comes Gigi running out of the cabin. And she says, Dad. I said, what's going on? She said, cut it off. I said, what's going on? What's going on? It's almost like, don't you hear what I'm telling you? Cut it off. I'm like, cut what off? The water. So I'm like,
Little Gigi. That was Little Gigi.
Yeah, Little Gigi.
Yeah.
Same thing. They the same thing.
We are the same. One is
one
a smaller package.
And one is more full size, fun size pack. Fun size pack, small size pack. Same Gigi. And then so, man, guess what happened? If y'all notice, I've been trying to
Thank you, Tommy. Tommy said she shared the video. That's a love. Thank you,
I appreciate that. Y'all, if y'all can share out the video, and if you all also can hit that like if you don't mind. Hit that like. We want to be in good graces with the algorithm. We don't want to be held down like a heavy weight. We want to fly free, and we want to be spread from nation to nation. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, I appreciate your support. Appreciate everything you do. Rambo say Eco, thank you, Gigi, or it was Eco with Flood.
Okay, so finish the story, babe. I'm sorry.
So she comes out there, and outside I have a little shutoff valve, and I hit the shutoff valve, and I had just maybe a week ago and did some plumbing. So as you all know, I did the sink, did the plumbing for the sink, so she'll have some water. And the next thing that I did was the toilet. Mm-hmm. So no more composting, no more in the middle of the night digging.
No more everyday
bucket
digging the
fill,
holes.
bucket dump. No more if you about to break your ankle stepping into where she done dug something out of that. But she's been awesome,
She
baby.
has been incredible.
Awesome.
So much tougher than we anticipated.
Man, who would think? Really, she's more off grid than we are.
She absolutely
is. She is pretty much 100% off
grid. Our little to
a certain point. We all got cell phones and different stuff like that. But
what she does, she is really like 1,000% in, die hard.
And she she makes a man pretty proud. You know what I'm saying? She makes dad pretty proud. She do her thing. Little Gigi ain't no joke, good. Man. Yeah, little Gigi is a soldier, man. Man, she's prime real estate, really straight Seriously. But she came out. I shut it off. I went in, and to my dismay, the bathroom had water all over the place. She said it spurted all over in her face. She was at the sink at the time, and I was like, "Oh my God, no!" But I could see where I was concerned. I was concerned because I did the plumbing by myself. It wasn't anyone there, and when I was feeding it into the interior wall, when I was feeding my pipe into the interior wall, I didn't have nothing to hold that pipe while I was pushing it in to seal it. But I was trying to kind of squeeze it in, but the cement was drying so quick, and it was like right at 100 degrees when I was out there doing that, right? So I kind of knew where it would have been, and it just so happened it was in that same spot. So that it was pretty much nighttime. Here I am out here in this wilderness as usual, and working on some plumbing
with real animals.
Yeah, the kind that go ooh, 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 ah, 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 and I just say ooh, 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 ooh. So it's all good, I shut down everything. We couldn't understand when things stop, it stopped on the whole entire homestead. Yeah. You have animals, the water. Yeah. You have, including us humans. Yes. We need water when we get home. You're hot, you're wet, you're sweaty, you're sore, and all of us, we come off from work pretty much around the same time. The Gigi gets there sometimes early. We get there sometimes early. I get there sometimes, or sometimes I don't even go at all. Sometimes I just telework. But we kind of have this schedule where at certain times, Gigi go first, little Gigi go first. Gigi goes second as far as taking a shower, and then I follow. I finish it up. So everything is pushed back. And during this time zone, it gets about around 9 o'clock is when it gets dark. So I already knew it was around 9. And then here I am. I'm getting my saw out, getting my hand saw, shutting off the water, drying off the pipes, cutting the pipes, putting some elbows. I couldn't find the elbow. You know how that works. Everything, especially when we're out there, I don't have an organized workshop. I missed my garage, where I knew where all my PVC were. I knew where my screwdrivers were. I knew where my shovels and everything. I put everything in a certain place. But here, some stuff is in Bernice. Some stuff is up under a tree. Some stuff is over there by the wash house. So it began to be a chore where I was able to find the elbow. I found some scrap pipe, got it all plumbed up. But I couldn't cut the water on because I wanted to make sure it dry. Even though it was above, I think it's 40 degrees or 60 degrees, 40 degrees, that it takes about a couple of hours. But a couple of hours would have been around 11. Man,
it was time to go to bed. Yeah, like when we get home, it's time to go to bed.
Not only that, we right back up at the crack of dawn. So I just shut that section off of the compound. With the and that's the thing. If you're doing plumbing, you're doing your own plumbing, you're doing your own wiring. Put you different shut off valves and shut off and breakers. Put you different breakers and shut off valves in different areas, especially if you have the control of whether, I don't mean you physically doing yourself, but if you're hiring someone, pay that extra money to be able to shut off quadrants of your compound. Yes. Because if you put everything to one connection, that means, guess what? When you shut that one, everybody is shut down. So
as Tommy said, yes, everything stops and you cannot sit down when you get home. And that's so true. And then guess what?
Dang, I forgot about that.
And guess what, Tommy? A lot of days I don't even want to, because by the time we get out there, I'm so ready to be there. Yeah. So I don't even want to sit down when I get there. I literally go in, and typically I'm going to change my shoes, and then I'm headed out. I'm headed out to walk around the yard.
Yeah, you feel me,
So
don't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I know,
definitely
Brother
feel
Lawrence.
you
I
on the
know you feel me.
organization part with no central location.
Y'all check out Brother
pages.
Lawrence. He getting it
Yeah.
in too. Tommy Bites
Yeah.
too. Tommy Bites. Hey, y'all don't know. Tommy Bites is an OG in the chat. Just let y'all know. Tommy Bites. For her to spend just any piece of time to come on to Eco Nation, man. I appreciate you, Tommy Bites, for even blessing us with your presence.
Appreciate the love.
Rambo,
and
y'all
the
check out Rambo
consistency,
Green
sis.
Hands. Rambo, I kind of lean towards your Instagram, man. I love your Instagram so much. Shout out, y'all on Instagram. Check them out. Check them out.
Yeah.
Auntie Bev too. Check out Auntie Bev. Kathy
Yep.
B. I saw him on the other day.
Yeah. We were up in Brother Lawrence live. We were in his he did a premiere.
Gotcha.
Him doing some lawn work.
So got everything plumbed up. And I told little Gigi, I said, you won't have any plumbing, but we got enough water in the toilet. So if you need to do what you got to do tonight, if it's fluid wise, don't flush it, just leave it there. But meanwhile, if it's some solids, you got maybe 2 flushes.
Save the unicorns anyway. Yeah. Flush less. Save the unicorns.
That's what I used to tell the kids
when they were little. Save a unicorn. Don't flush every time.
So I found out that you remember, if y'all remember, I was installing the toilet and I dropped the bowl on the toilet, the top portion of the toilet, mm-hmm. and I was out of gas, right? Mm-hmm. And so the plumbing inside of the one that came with the toilet, mm-hmm. it was far better than the one I bought, just the top with plumbing. And I'm gonna have to change that out because the top has a neck on about this high. So you're looking at about 4 inches of water that just sits there. It doesn't nothing whatsoever. So when you lift up the top of your toilet, look down in your toilet, right? If you have a long extension where the water pours down to, and it's about this much, all you're doing is just wasting water. You got about this much water. And if you're off grid, you're homesteaded, the one that I bought that cracked, it was already flush at the base. So it does not hold excess water. When you flush it, it all goes down and it all fills up. You don't have to fill up and just keep this wasted water. Mm-hmm. So that's something I definitely want to change. So if you ever get a chance, basically, once you raise up the top of your toilet, you'll see a flap. So when you press down the lever outside of your toilet to flush, a flap opens with the chain. Flap opens, water pours down this tube, and then it flushes. The problem with this is the tube is about this tall from the base of the bowl. You don't need all of that. Try to find something that's kind of flush. So you only need just a little water. It don't take that much water because it takes just almost about 3 gallons just to get that toilet to operate.
Yeah, Tommy said, right, the escape from it all. I feel you. I just told my husband I want to cut back on the news stories because I need the garden for a peace of mind. I care about the money, but it's not worth my peace.
It's a balance.
Yes.
That's the beautiful thing about life. And that's another thing about controlling. Some people say, well, y'all going through all what you're going through. Look at this. Guess what we got today?
What?
Guess what I got today?
What you got?
Look.
You smiling?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
One thing about homestead, you smile a little bit more.
Absolutely.
You smile a little bit more. And you mentally have a freeness.
Yes.
A lot of people say, y'all going through all of this and going through all of that, but there's certain things that we can balance. It's like what Tommy just said.
Yeah.
If things get a little too hectic, we can just cut everything off and unplug.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about things tumbling down for us, in the city life, we constantly had things to be obligated to. Mm-hmm. We constantly had things that we had to do. We had time frames on everything that we had to do, as far as the bus running, as far as the garbage disposal, it's things that you don't even think about, that you're on a timer, mm-hmm. You're on a routine clock, as far as paying the cable bill, paying the light bill. If we get up, like we got up this morning a little bit slower, we got up to wash some clothes, but we normally be up, before daybreak. But we can lay there and not have to be like, well, we missed the bus or we missed a certain time slot to bring the hobo out to the yard or whatever. we have somewhat control of our time, even though we got jobs. But if we just say, look, baby, let's take maybe a month or two off. We'll find another job. You know what I'm saying? We can do that. Right now, we got a big mission we're trying to do. We got a big thing, because one thing about when you start a homestead, we put down the groundwork and we put down the fundamental pieces. I mean, we can do the debt thing. This is just our way, our journey. This is not for you to do, but this is just something we decided to do.
Yeah.
Because you could easily.
And we're not trying to tell you all what to do and what you should do. That is not our goal here. Our goal is this, to show you the reality of this journey, of what it's like. And again, like we said before, just because we have certain things happen to us does not necessarily mean that yours is going to be the same way. It's not. There are a lot of people who do this thing, who have a lot of money, who are able to just throw some money at it and get this thing done. And you may be in that same position, but we are in it for the journey as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could go out there and pay somebody all of this money. We have credit cards and everything, just like everybody else. Yeah. But we could go out there and run them up and pay somebody to do all of this stuff. But we prefer not to. We prefer for this to be a journey for us, to take the journey, and we are enjoying the journey. That's where we are right now.
And then another thing, you build memories. You build a lot of different things where you can truly, just follow up. Yeah. But you build during this journey. You build a lot of different. It's memories, it's dreams, y'all. And everybody got their own journey. We kind of dreamt about going down this pathway for quite some time. And yeah, we're down this journey, but at the same time, it's all good. So let's talk about some more news, y'all. I got everything buttoned up, got it fixed. And once I got the plumbing fixed to the toilet, the next day I switched on the water. No leaks, y'all. Thank you. No leaks. So far, no leaks at all. Everything is back to normal. And guess what happened probably about 2 days later? You guessed it, another leak, but somewhere else. So going to the RV, we have like a water hose that's running to the inlet of the RV. And woke up one morning, get ready to take a shower, no water pressure. And I'm like, what we do, we run it so we can fill up the actual unit and the whole system, so that we don't have to worry about starting the generator, getting outside, doing whatever we need to do in the darkness of the night. We can just get up, take a shower, and be done.
Wait a minute. Ooh, wait. Yeah, that's SG Tribe card in that. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
You're shaking my table.
I'm in here.
You're coming in and out. Came in late.
I'm sorry.
And then you're advertising your piece.
Sorry. Because we are one. We are one. Like one. We are one. Okay.
Let's go to the chat.
Hey, everybody just came in.
Well, you've been priced out 4 or 5 times paying someone else rent. For me, owning your own is worth working for. I mean, you have to make that decision what you want to put your value in. For us, Toyas, I agree, it's worth it. I mean, and everybody has their own decision. We've had people in our lives that we worked with and we interacted with that they wanted to own a home. They were renting, and they end up owning a home, and they hated the whole process. They didn't like working on nothing. They didn't like calling nobody to get it fixed. They didn't like the fact of, because they would move every so often, and every time they go into an apartment, they would get a new apartment. They liked the fact that they had the amenities there. They had everything they need to do. Versus a home, you got to buy the pool. You got to buy the gym, the fitness center. You got to buy the equipment. You got to keep the equipment. They liked not only the convenience of where they lived, they also liked the fact of, I just go to work, come home, relax, and do whatever I have to do without taking care. But that's my point. To each his own. But there are alternatives, and you don't have to stay on these cycles. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing we're just trying to show, that you can be in a life and in America, and you can have very low outgo and still maintain your inflow.
Yeah.
And so even though those prices of your outgo may rise over a period of time, you still get to get ahead of that curve,
Yeah.
by putting yourself in a certain situation, which makes it real cool. Makes it real cool.
Yeah. I just went through some stuff. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago how our insurance company was like trying to drop us, right? So just because they needed information and they also needed a reason to raise our rates, okay? And I knew that's what it was all about in the first place. All right, Tommy. Okay, Tommy. And so I had to literally go through and I had to change coverages. Mm-hmm. I had to do so much stuff because.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the insurance company, this is the car insurance.
So we added a new car. One of our daughters, she obtained another car, and she had an existing car, and then we watched the insurance just go.
Yeah.
And so Gigi, which is our auditor, finance / tax consultant / whatever, she does all of that / nurse / mother / protector / all of that.
I was like, look, this is what we're not going to do. Okay. So I was going in, I was playing with the rates, trying to get the price back down.
The system, right?
Trying to finesse it.
Why you didn't just call them and try to work something out?
Because everything that you say will be used against you. Okay.
What are you saying about insurance?
This is one thing that you have to know about insurance.
You do know you're married to an insurance agent. You do know that, don't you?
That's how I know everything that you say will be used against you. And so, no, I was not going to call them. So I went into the system and I was just, I was negotiating some stuff with myself. Okay, do we need this? Do we need that? Because typically, we don't get like the lowest insurance or whatever. We'll get what we think is sufficient and, what we need to cover the family and cover other people. Well, I had to just maneuver some stuff around.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah. Hey, Miss D.
Miss D.
How you doing, Miss D?
One minute. Let me do this real quick. Miss D, I love your profile. The way you cross your legs and then that white on you, girl, you got it going on. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm saying, go ahead.
And so anyway, I ended up, one thing that I noticed was that when I removed the old car, when we added the new car, they shot the price through the roof, not for the new car, but for the old car, right? And so then once they did that, I was like, okay, let me see how I'm going to move. I looked at the prices with both. Mm-hmm. And so they went from the old car one day being really, really high to me removing the old car and looking at the price. They were charging us one thing. And then when I said, okay, I want to remove this car, they only removed half of the price, what they were charging us. And I was
like, you mean to tell me, they just say they went up $500. Mm-hmm. And then when you took it off, they went down $100?
$250. Yeah. And so these are the games that they play. And so you have to learn how to play the games along with them. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do both changes in one day. Well, little did I know that the system was already set up. Hey, Katie, how you doing? Hey, Katie. The system was already set up to know that I made the change the day before. And so when I went back in again to make another change that following day, the price on the new car now had shot up like the price on the old car that we removed.
Well, this AI ain't no joke.
When I tell you, it's no joke. And so I was like, okay, well, I have no choice but to also adjust the coverages that we have. Yeah. Just do some higher deductibles, that type of thing. And I had already increased the deductibles, but I'm like, okay, we just have to. If anything happened, we just gonna have a lower amount of coverage.
I'm an older guy, more challenged guy. And when you brought that thing about the deductibles, family, please understand this. Costs are rising.
Yeah.
And before you get in long-term commitments with anything, whether it's a woman or a man or a house or whatever, understand that whatever you go into, you need to be willing and be flexible to take on more. And what do I mean by that? Insurance, property taxes. You buy a house, and if you're at your max, you can't control insurance going up. Mm-hmm. You can't control those taxes going up. Mm-hmm. You buy a car, and some of us, we're paying $1,200, $800, $900 a month for a vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're at your max, when you go into this relationship, if anything go up like your insurance, it's putting you out. A young lady, I said it before in the live, she's paying $800. She got hit with an $800 a month increased charge on her mortgage. Mm-hmm. Between here in the state of Florida, between insurance and taxes. Mm-hmm. Do you understand how life-changing that would be for a lot of people on fixed income?
And that's why I was like, we got to get off of the hamster wheel. We have to get off of the wheel because you can't control this. Now, what we're doing, we can control our cost. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you were alluding to earlier. Yeah. We can control our cost. We don't have the what we had, the insurance, because the cost, the value of our home went up. So the amount of the insurance will double, that type of thing. So I need y'all to understand, mm-hmm. like, the only way that you're going to be able to control anything is that you're going to have to do something that nobody else is willing to do. Everybody is willing to go out and get a bigger house, get a better house, get a newer house, all of this type of stuff. But if you sacrifice something now, mm-hmm. then when everybody else is still in debt, when everybody else is still doing all of the other stuff, you can then be doing what you want to do. And that's what we're banking on.
And then having that flexibility. It's just like now that we don't, quote, have a mortgage and stuff like that, we can take more risks as far as insurance-wise.
Investing.
We can invest in some things because we can hedge some of that risk. You know, if before, when we might have had a $10,000, $12,000 left to pay on the car, where if we tight on our budget, we tight on our mortgage and tight on that, bumping up your what it is, the when you have an accident, deductible. Bumping up your deductible may not be the best option because things are tight. So whenever you are in a tight situation, you want a low deductible just in case something happens. But as you get a little bit more flexibility, you can balance that.
We bumping them deductibles.
Yeah, you bump the deductibles.
I bumped them deductibles up nicely, and I'm like, listen, because y'all are not about to have us locked in every month to paying double what we were paying. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and in the meantime, hey, you be looking for somebody else who can give you better rates than that. Hi, Miss Grace, guys. How you doing?
Guy. Good to see you.
You just Grace, had the same thing happen. Yeah.
Much love to Grace guys. So now we're gonna transition this whole thing. As I said, I did have a leak, got that fixed going to the RV, but now we're gonna have a little conversation. We encountered some bad weather on yesterday.
Ooh, thankfully I was asleep.
Yeah, she slept all the way through it like a baby. I was glad of that too.
I was so happy because y'all know I be running.
Panicky.
I am a runner when it comes to weather. I am a runner. I'm going to get out of there. But I would have just went to the cabin because, obviously the cabin is much more stable than the RV. So
the RV just rocks. That's it. If it gets bad. But one good thing about yesterday, it started out with high winds and then it slowly just stopped. But what was very, very, I think I had on my phone, they gave alert that a lightning struck 0.22 of a mile. I have no idea how close that is, but something tells me it was close.
Yeah, it was close.
But it seems like every lightning strike yesterday was close.
Yeah.
And if you all know any type of storm that comes from the Gulf of Mexico up through where we are, it's always intense. Mm-hmm. It's always power packed. And we're like an hour, maybe an hour, 20 minutes mm-hmm. to maybe 2 hours from the coast. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of those things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you live in Florida, when you live in Florida, you only pretty much, no matter where you are in the state, except for some places, maybe an hour or so from a coast. Anyway,
True.
yeah,
True.
you know, the state of Florida is like on crack, you know, just skinny.
But yes, Abby Mack said yes. You have to do the hard research and ask around to save your money. If it wasn't for my neighbor, I wouldn't have known about grievance day. Saved me 40% on my taxes. We don't know about grievance day. What is grievance day?
Yeah.
Happy Mac, come on with the information.
Appreciate that, Happy Mac.
Come with the information.
Maybe
I mean, our taxes ain't but $200 a year. So.
You hear me? You hit yourself on that one. Don't be telling everybody our tax ain't but
$200 a year for the 20 acres. So.
They might know what's going on. I don't need. Oh no, we don't need that. But anyway, and that's 20 acres, y'all. That's 20 acres. What it is? What that comes to $10 an acre? I'm just saying, leave that alone. Let that be where it's at. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
but that's what happens when you do your research and you find the right property, though. I mean, because we made sure that we looked at like how everything was zoned and all of that stuff, and when you get them properties that are agriculturally zoned, then you're gonna get to some big old discounts. So it is what it is.
Can you keep it going? Look this up.
Yeah. So please tell us about that Happy Mac, and we're gonna do some research, of course, but if you could just give us like a quick gist of what that is, saving 40% on taxes. I prefer not to pay any. I don't want to pay no taxes. $200 is $200. So if I don't have to pay any, then guess what? And Eco's friend that has over 200 acres, I think he pays maybe the same that we pay.
And he fights for every
cent.
This dude don't take no time off from his job, none. And one day he took a day off for his job. I said, "What's up? What's going on? You good? You good? Everything all right on the home front?" He said, "Man, I had to go down there, and they went up on my taxes a whole $20." And I was like, "What?" Clutch my pearls, as African Dream would say. I said, "What, man? You went down?" He said, "Look, you gotta fight for everything." I was like, "You better believe it, my friend. You better believe." Yeah, he didn't play about that. He said they will not be going up on my taxes without giving me the proper advance notice. And I didn't vote on that. I mean, I was like, he said, you got to know your rights and you got to know what's going on. But he got it straight too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, I'm learning from the best. He old school. He been on the land a whole lot more. I've been around, you know. I think he started his journey with his land. His family already had land, but he started with his journey on his own in the 80s, in the early 80s.
Yeah, and they built their own house.
Yeah, he said
they were uncomfortable. They were uncomfortable. They were all right.
Beautiful home.
Uncomfortable.
Nestled in the woods.
Yeah.
He got a beautiful home.
Yeah.
It's a 2-story home. Him and his wife built it together.
Yes. And what they were living in while they
Well, first he said first they moved up this area and they camped out. They cleared out a spot. They lived in a tent in the beginning. His wife said, "We ain't gonna keep doing this." Why? For some reason, his wife always pushes us to keep going, and that's why you need a wife. Okay. So his wife said, "We're not gonna keep doing it." So he went and got an RV. Then he went with an RV, and they worked on that house. And then he said, "We will finish a room and live in that room, and or semi-finish." He said it took maybe 5 or 6 years to really finish the house, but he didn't have no mortgage.
Yes.
No. You know, he did finance some of the parcels of land. But come on, man, 200, almost 300, 240 some odd acres.
And then we said, "Rob, what would you do different?"
Oh, yeah. So I got a video out there, y'all.
Thank you, Happy Mac.
Check out the video.
Each town assessor has a single day where you can ask for a reduction in your taxes. Do your research and present your case. Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. I'm sick of this. Hold on for a second. You're not gonna keep doing this, Happy Mac. And if you don't do it, it's all good. But I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna invite not just you, but anybody. Somebody, y'all, come on up. Let me throw the invite.
Let's see if I can find that video.
I got a video where I show where me and my friend, we're on his property. You know, we're doing a little work out there on his property, and I interview him at the end of the video. And my last question I had with him was, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? And then he said, I will own more land. I will own more land. So, hey, that's one thing, if you ever get a piece or a taste of it, you'll understand. You understand what we're saying.
If you just get a little taste.
And you can do it. That's the point. That's the point why we do this, to show you, look, I got bleach stains. I don't have the best vernacular. I am not well groomed and cut. I slur my words.
I still wear makeup.
I still have to write my stuff down and carry the 3.
Like
and
get my nails done sometimes.
I still got dirt up under my nails, you know what I'm saying? And I still got old pants and old shoes. If we can do it,
anybody can do it.
Y'all can do it, man. And that's all we want to do. We just want to encourage you all that if you set your mind to it and you put in the work, you can do it. Yeah. Trust me. You can do it. So right now, I just dropped the link, right? Happy Mac, if you want to, if you don't have to cut on your camera, nothing you don't feel like it, but if you don't feel like it, that's cool. Much love to you. I'm just inviting whoever would like to come up. Happy Mac, you got a lot to share. If you want to take this time to share, we welcome you. Anybody, Michelle, whoever y'all want to do, y'all want to come up, we're going to come up. We're going to go into our discussion where we open up the chat, where we open up everything and we allow people to come in. The subject for today, we're going to have a conversation about forever chemicals, okay?
Ooh.
Forever chemicals. If you never heard about forever chemicals, please do not trust anything that I say. And all these are opinions. These are ideas, but I just want to let you know that they may just exist if you do your research, right? So have you ever heard of, do you remember when you used to go to the pizza restaurant or the pizzeria, and then you used to get a cardboard box, you get your pizza to go. And when you get your pizza to go, you have this nice little wax inside your box. That wax is there for a reason. One, for your pizza not to get soggy in the stick. The other reason for that nice little film, that little waxy film, is to keep the heat into the cardboard. But the cardboard is also designed to allow it to breathe at the same time. So it won't be soggy by the time you arrive at your destination to eat the pizza, right? So look at Toys. Toys already on. Toys already on. Come through. Hey, the chat is there now. You want some things to say? I know you already got a knowledge about it, but the PFAs, go ahead and put up with the PFAs in the chat for me. PFAs, so people know what the PFAs are. Have you ever purchased? You remember those commercials where you had them non-stick pans? You cook your eggs and they don't stick to it, or you cook your bacon, or you cook whatever you're gonna cook in that skillet, and it just slides on off. Do y'all remember that? You remember having those non-stick pans? Guess what? There's something that makes it non-stick. Same thing like in the box, that little nice waxy film in the box of the pizza. Or maybe if y'all remember, people used to come to your house, carpet cleaners or even upholstery cleaners. They offer a service called more like stain guard, where they put on this spray. It's called Scotch Guard. They put it on your furniture. They spray it on your furniture. Sometimes they even put it in your clothing, so it won't draw those stains. Do y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. You heard of that? So Grace Guy said, "Yeah, I heard of it too." These types of products or enhancements to the products, they are what we call forever chemicals. Forever. Yes. The reason why they call them forever chemicals is because they have been known to last a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. These chemicals they were made back in the 1940s from my research, right? And then in the 40s, there was a transition where one of the companies that developed this, they were bought by a company, what we call, I won't name that company. They were bought by this large company that a lot of people know of, a lot of people are familiar with, a lot of household products are manufactured from this company, right? Then once that company obtained it, they understood the good and the bad. One thing about passing and allowing certain chemicals to be utilized in the public, they have to go through a certain systematic screening, testing, and a bunch of other things. So they were given the book of the truth and everything like this. Mm-hmm. Granted, most of these chemicals, it takes a long time for it to go into your system. And they say throughout the world, over at least 98%, anywhere in the high 90s, I'm going to say the high 90s of the population of the world, not United States, but of the world, has this chemical inside of their body. Mm. This chemical does not dissolve, does not go away. A lot of those pizza boxes, they make their way to the landfills. When they go into the landfill, the cardboard box dissolves, but guess what happens to the chemical? The chemical no longer rests inside the box. It goes into what we call our aquifer, or our water system. So recently, there was a community in the state of Florida that had a high concentration. There have been studies across the United States, and there is what we call an organization or consortium that they all had communities in small towns, mid-sized, large towns. Check it. I've seen Texas, high concentration, parts of Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, I want to say Alabama, Mississippi. There's different states. I believe, well, every state is touched by it.
Of course.
But they found it mainly around military bases. Mm-hmm. So the military base, if you live near a military base, is probably somewhere around where you have been impacted by it, right?
And also those small, very small towns where they will put manufacturing facilities. They're gonna pollute the water. They're gonna pollute the air. And a lot of these people were having tumors. They were having all types of things that were causing issues with their children, causing learning disabilities. Pregnant women were very, very at risk, are very, very at risk. So there's a whole lot that happens with these chemicals. That was one of the things that one of my selling points when I was doing business, natural products, soaps, lotions, hair products, that type of thing, was that we are very, very, very particular about the types of soap that we make. Mm-hmm. And most people don't want unscented soap. Okay. Like you'll probably find like 0.5% of people who want unscented soap. Everybody wants scent. Everybody wants fragrance in their soap. So I would be very particular about where I shopped. And the companies had to not have any phthalates and different types of chemicals that were going to be harmful, because our skin is our biggest organ.
Yes.
And so that's, to this very day, that's why I still make all of our soap for the family.
And then we're going to bring you up real soon, friend. One of the other things that I did want to kind of communicate to you all as well is that these chemicals, they have some effects, y'all.
Absolutely.
And we're finding this particular community that's in Florida that won, I think this was into the billions. I'm talking about billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. The water treatment city, county will receive the funds because they've been trying to clean their water. And from what I'm told, they made great strides, but they had to put in a lot of infrastructure. And then I'm thinking the next wave and the next phase from the attorney that I listened to, he says they're going to transition to the citizens, where they will be able to there's going to be another rollout of that lawsuit where the citizens are going to be getting. But you got liver cancer, colon cancer, mm-hmm. stomach cancer. Mm-hmm. It's cancerous. And they knew it. And not only them, but all the other manufacturers. Mm-hmm. And the sad part about it is most of anything that we need inside of our food system or anything that we use that actually removes, or anything that we use that actually preserves, they call them preservatives for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, if you get a piece of fruit and you buy a banana, and that banana does not rot within a certain period of days at room temperature, you know something's wrong, right? If you buy, I remember when I used to be loving that I don't want to say what it is, but I love this juice, right? And this juice, I used to drink. One time, Gigi turned the juice around and I almost spit it out in the stove because I couldn't even wait to get the checkout, right? This juice.
It's always Gigi be messing up stuff.
She said this juice
stuff.
on the back of the label, it was what it was.
Oh my God, it was
formaldehyde.
It was terrible.
Formaldehyde. I'm like, and it wasn't no low concentration. I'm like, I ain't dead.
And that's why I was so adamant about our kids not drinking juice. And when they were little, I'm like, teach them how to drink water. When we sent them to, grandparents, let them drink water while they're here too. Don't be giving them all those juices because they think that a little concentration of formaldehyde in your juice as a preservative, hey, Ms. Nader, is okay. But as your children drink that stuff over and over and over again, are those concentrations as little as they say? So you got to use your common sense. You got to use your brain.
So guess who we have? Guess who we have? Guess who we have? We have Auntie Bev Jones.
How you doing?
Welcome on in.
How you doing?
Thank you.
See if we can
Thank
turn
you so
the
much.
volume here.
Can you hear me?
Hold on.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Hold on for 1 second.
Turn up your volume. Can you turn your volume up, Auntie Bev Jones?
It may be on us. We'll check.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me better.
Oh, we can't
It's
hear
on
you.
us. Let's see. Let me see what we can do. Hold on for 1 second.
All right.
Not the speakers, but the speakers. There we go. All right. I think we in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We
now
hear
we
you.
need to turn it
We can hear
down.
you now. Now
Yeah,
you're
you're
good.
good.
You're
You're good.
perfect.
Okay. Hi everyone. Hi chat. Hi Eco. Hi Gigi.
How
And
you
hi little Gigi for when you're watching this.
doing?
Yeah. But yeah, you all are talking about some serious stuff and with my husband having previous neurological conditions, we have to watch all those preservatives and all of that stuff. So, uh, yeah, when I look at packages, I try to make sure there is 1 to 2 ingredients. If not, I go to YouTube University and I try to find another way to make it or another way to acquire it. So yeah, because a lot of doctors out there, just in case you guys didn't know, a lot of doctors, I won't call any of the names, but um, if you go to my channel, you'll probably see one of the doctors. One doctor was talking about fruit and cancer. I'll just say that and let that do. I was talking about fruits and cancer, and I actually reposted that this morning,
Okay.
early this morning.
I'm gonna have to
So
go
if
check
you,
that out.
yeah, go check that out at Aunt B's Homestead, and then uh, most of the stuff that you see me posting on the page, I try to get the best of, for instance, grits. I heard you all say something about grits one time, Gigi and Eco. And so grits, I searched like the best grits that you can get, even though some things are still maybe worth passing up or trading it out for something else. That's one of the things that we're holding on to a little bit. So we tried to get the best ones, right? So either you take your corn and you make your grits, or you find somebody who is equally as concerned about preservatives as you, and
Yeah.
then you choose those products. And
Yeah.
so that's what we've done with about 90% of the things that we ingest. And I said one thing I said for my birthday this year is uh, I want to do something different. I don't want to sit down and eat and party. For my birthday this year, I want to go hiking, and because that's a thing with us now, to get outside, hike more, do those things safely, but do it. And so that's what we did. We went to a beach to where we could hike up to a mile, and then relax on the beach. And that was like looking at God's creation. I mean, that art out there at that beach, the emerald green, was the best thing that we could have done. So
Mm.
I said all of that to say, uh, we listened to a doctor who said the best physician you have is inside of you.
Hmm.
That's it.
A
That's it.
doctor said that
Mm-hmm.
the best physician you have is inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So if we treat our body good, our body
Ooh,
is
that's powerful.
programmed
Yeah.
to repair itself.
That's right.
But we have to stop. See, they're not pushing anything in our mouths. They're just putting it in the food.
Yeah.
We're pushing it in our mouth.
We make the decisions.
We
Absolutely.
make the decision. We make the decision. So when I heard you all say that, that put me on that soapbox again because that's a big deal for us. And
And
yeah,
how has your husband, how has he benefited from you watching that, reading those labels and things?
that's a whole story in itself.
Mm.
His condition, he was paralyzed, guys. And I won't tell that story on this page
Mhm.
right now, but he was paralyzed, paralyzed. And this is an athlete
Mm.
who has won trophies for playing tennis. And you probably just saw him walk behind my head.
Yeah, yeah.
And the key word is
You
walk,
fast too.
okay?
He's still fast.
The key word is walk.
Right, right.
He's walking, and I'm telling you, it pays to have that mindset that you're not going to give up on yourself.
Whew,
That
what you say?
yeah, because even my mother said, I just don't believe he's not going to walk again. She had
Mm,
the mindset. I mean, that she wasn't going to give up on him, and
mm.
he had the mindset that he wasn't going to give up on himself.
See?
And how do you sit there paralyzed and say, leg, you got to work?
Hmm.
And then you do something to make your leg, you lift it with your arms, and you make your leg move with your hand until you can eventually make your brain tell your leg to move.
Mm,
That's what power does, like individual power does, mindset does. But I'm
mm,
telling you, the food with that mindset,
Hmm.
mm.
that's incredible. Let him say something. Hold on.
It's all about attitude. You got to have the right attitude to let nothing hold you back.
Right.
Amen.
Hold
Amen.
on, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. So can you without going all in detail, can you share us about, what were you feeling when it happened to you? Like, did you feel like
When
giving up, or what how did you feel?
No, my wife said to me that, do you feel suicidal? I said, you got to be crazy. Can't nothing. I say, can't nothing in this world stop me. I don't care what it is. And I told her, if it's not fatal,
mhm,
it's not final.
he always said
Mm.
that.
Yes.
Always said
Ooh.
over 20 years, he's
Drop
always
that
said
fire
that.
emoji. Drop the fire emoji
I need
in
to
the
drop
chat for
something too.
Mr. Jones.
Y'all get
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
quick.
All right, go on, because you're taking them away from me. No, no, I'm just joking because that is a part of me. He is a part of me. But yes,
Wow.
I'm
That's
telling you guys, it's an incredible story. And for a lot of you don't know that I write books. And one of the books is Tennis Jones. And that's his story about how he went from an award winning tennis player to being paralyzed
mm,
to getting back to fighting
hmm.
and then to eventually run again on the tennis court.
My goodness.
And I'll just give you a snippet and just say when I had to push him in his wheelchair, first of all, put him in his wheelchair, then push him around in his wheelchair. Uh, we've been living retired for probably 13 years now. So I took him down and told him, we're going to the tennis court. The tennis court was across from where we live. Go figure. We would choose a place to where the tennis court is
Of
across the
course,
street.
of course.
Yep. So we went downstairs because we were on the third floor. We went down the elevator, rolled to the tennis court, and he thought we were going to get some sun. And I said to myself, because I'm an educator, so, teachable moment. I said, I'm taking him over to this tennis court and I'm going to put him out on that court because he can't resist. He can't walk. He
Mm-hmm.
can't resist. And that's gonna be his motivation, is what I said to myself. And so by the time we got towards the road, he was like, "Where we going?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "We're going to the tennis court." He said, "I don't want to go to the tennis court." Like, he didn't want to go towards that tennis court because when he goes to the tennis court, he's at his best.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't feel at his best at that time, and is what I was thinking. So I was like, let me help you feel at your best. He
Mm-hmm.
had on a shirt. Let me tell you how good God is. He gives us the intelligence to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when I thought about what I could do to help him, I did not plan for him to have on a shirt with a lion on it or a tiger on it, something like that. He already had that on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So of course I thought about Rocky, and I was like, "Eye of the tiger,"
yeah, yeah.
"Eye of the tiger," and I'm gonna take you across this street. And he was like, And I pushed him across that street. He was 38 high. I'm telling you, like 40 caliber or something. uh, by the time we got across there, but with his personality, he doesn't, like, go nuts like some people do. So he sat there and we got over to the gate, and I pushed him, guys, on that tennis court. And it seems like the biggest tear in the world wanted to welled up in his eyes, but he was so strong and resistant. And there's something about being stubborn in certain ways, because if you're strong, resistant, stubborn, uh, and willing to move forward, you probably will. He didn't want to go on that tennis court less than his best. And guess what? He made his legs move so that he can get back out there and
Peter.
be his best. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I look at this guy, and my brother had to have surgery, and he said that my husband was his motivation to get better.
Wow,
Wow.
wow, wow.
That's powerful.
Now, something that's even more powerful too. Not only just the beauty and the strength and the grace of God, but as well as, I mean, you phenomenal woman.
Mm-hmm.
You truly being there through that process. I couldn't imagine all of a sudden you living with someone and you look at the strength, you look at their grace, you look at their beauty, some of the things that attracted you to that individual, and then all of a sudden within, like, turning on the light switch, it disappears. And it's only tucked away now from what we learned from you. But at that time, you really didn't know what was around the corner. And it's like, so what went through you, and what was it, like instinct, or was it like, I know you married, I know the commitment, but I'm just saying, it's still, caregiving is real, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you never cared for anybody, I'm not talking about taking care of a child, but someone that's strong one minute, and then here you are, they need help. I mean, here he was paralyzed, right? So help us to understand, because I know it had to be scary. I know it had to be, like, shocking. And I also knew it had to be something. So share a little bit with that, Queen.
Well, he jokes because obviously we talk about it. That was a substantial portion of our lives, because he had to, even though he walked, he had to work himself back to where he walked and you not notice anything was wrong with him. So he did. So we did therapy, and without giving away the book, we did therapy. And I decided, instead of driving back to the next city every day, that I was going to spend the night with him in therapy. Well, I'm a woman, he's a man. And the nurses were like, we can't allow you to do that because he's here with another man. You know, he's here, you have two paralyzed men in the same room. And he's like, they're like, you can't stay here. You're a lady. You know, we can't put ladies in the room with the man. And I told them, I'm staying and I'm not going anywhere.
Mm.
Child, we stay together outside of here.
Yeah. And I told him I'm not going anywhere. So
we all, we
either
all,
he goes home, either he goes home and we could do it at home
Mhm.
because I work with small children. I know about building muscles, gross motor, fine motor development, uh, and cognition. So I told them flat out the way I'm telling you that we can just go home. I guess they didn't want to lose the money that the insurance was paying because
mm,
I stayed
That
there.
part.
I stayed there the whole time. I
Mhm.
spent the night. I stayed there and I signed a waiver saying if I drop him, they didn't know that I had worked in a nursing home before, but they
Mhm.
said if I drop him, that it's not on them, it's on me. I said, well, if you all don't drop him, I'm not going to drop him because I need him.
Mhm.
And then, and I need him to get better. So I signed the paper and I said, I know I'm not going to drop him because before we came here, I was the one getting him up out
Right.
of the bed.
Right.
And he helps me.
Right.
And I taught them how to help him because
Mhm.
he was a fighter. And
Mhm.
honey, they put him in the a facility for athletic people,
Mhm.
like sports rehab, because what we don't understand. I did a short video about when I'm sewing some things that I forget to do, and then I actually sewed a beanbag so that I could prop my feet up on. So one thing you need to know about Auntie Bev Jones is everything that I do has a rhyme or a reason.
Mhm.
So listen to the words because I know we get into pictures and and videos and the entertainment part, but listen to the words I say because most of the time it's a teachable moment.
Mhm.
I literally, when I sew, I can sit there for hours and forget to move. Well, back to him, he was very athletic and now he's paralyzed. So what do you think the blood's gonna do?
Mhm.
The blood's trying to rush, you're gonna start getting blood clots because
Mhm.
you're not active anymore. And he started getting blood clots. And uh, this helped me see, going back to your question, Eco, this helped me see that I'm doing nothing different from him than I do when I'm caregiving for children at school.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean he's a baby because I use the same strategies and techniques. Uh, the way I motivated them is the same way I motivated him by pushing him on the tennis court. Children kick and scream when you try to get them to do things, but then when they see the benefit of what you've done, then they go along with it and say that that was the best experience I could have had
Yeah.
because had I not done that, I wouldn't have taken the next step.
Mhm.
So what I did was had him. You said, was it instinct? Uh, I think it was just previous training for working with children because naturally when you're working with children, if a child falls down or hurt themselves, you just spring into action, right?
Mhm.
But if you don't know what to do, you probably sit there and scream, like some people would do and say, oh my gosh, your lip is broken, or something like that, instead of saying your lip is broken, we have to get something to stop the bleeding. So yes, I guess part of it is instinct, but a lot of it was training because I used to tell the therapist, we have to do the same thing to
Mhm.
get them to pinch, to teach them to pinch. We have to do the same thing. And I saw the therapist, one thing really moved me is when I saw the therapist say to him, this glove doesn't fit you. Hold on, where are my scissors? And she cut the glove and she made so I'm like, I sew, I can make him stuff too. So
mm.
when they're trying to tell us to buy $100 brace, guess what I did?
You made a burger.
Yeah.
Hey, we had to create a brace,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if it's from a $5 brace, and we just, manipulate it in a such a way so that it could work.
And you
And
customize, yeah,
he
because
customized it,
I
and
remember,
that's what they did.
yeah, I remember. It was funny that you said it because you brought back some memories. I remember when I worked with the healthcare company. I worked around a lot of physical therapists and speech therapists, and most of the things and the tools that they would make, they would customize them for the patient. So they would buy new products and then they would just alter them to fit their patients. And and you brought back those memories of also when you was talking about training. Um, One thing about that training, like you say, with the CPR, with this emergency training, when I used to work for this big old company, and it was so big, it was the size of a city, and we had some of the staff, we had to be like fire brigade, like we had to truly be firemen on that campus, and I was a part of that unit. And I remember some of our trainings and some of our teaching. It wasn't about you thinking. It wasn't about you reacting like panicking or anything like that, but your training, your continuous repetition and training from taps to pointing to listening to smelling, all of that, it came in play when disasters happen, where it was like it just came to you and you just stepped up to the plate. And that training is crucial, it's key. And not only just training, but repeating, repetition. So it becomes like a natural thing to happen whenever you're doing it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome.
And let me tell you, one of the nurses, I mean, nurses are awesome. The ones who love their jobs, they are awesome, and they can help you. She is the one who taught me to use vinegar when I'm washing. When you're washing for a person who's sick and prone to infections, use vinegar, because vinegar, it's a natural sterilizer or something. It cleans stuff like you would clean for a baby when we used to get those products that were made for babies, washing baby clothes. So she's the one who told me about that. And so that same nurse who taught me about that also tried to reprimand me when I said to him, I said, so, because I'm sitting there managing a whole school. So I was like, so what's going to happen if you can't go back to work? Because that put him into early retirement. What happened? What's going to happen? And then he was like, I'm not thinking about that right now. And, because this is fresh, fresh. And then they're telling us that this medicine is going to cost thousands of dollars per month. I'm not talking about, and maybe
Per
insurance will
month.
pay for it
You say per month?
And
per month. And I'm not talking about a little thousand. I'm talking about past 10,000 per
and
month.
not to mention the side effects
Yeah,
of
yeah,
said medicine.
That's
yeah,
always that. That's always that.
yeah. So
And
when they
sometimes the
told
side
us
effects
that,
can be worse than the truth. Yeah.
you say it again,
I
Eco.
was just saying sometimes the side effects can be worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so we were thinking about him walking again. And I was saying to myself, well, maybe we just have to have our best life without him walking, because I don't want him to live. Just say if I had $1 million, I don't want him to live on this medicine until we reach $1 million. And then what is he going to do next? Like,
Hmm.
so we got to solve this problem. Like, solve this problem of not walking, solve this problem of whatever the condition is doing to him. And when nobody knows what's happening, you have to go. When you said, what do you do? Sometimes anger, disappointment, all of those other words that doesn't give you hope, all of those other words that form in your head. Sometimes what they say, sometimes business is born out of necessity. Like
Hmm.
you need something, so you create a business to fulfill that need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Health, good health, and restoring health was born out of necessity. Uh, I'll say that's my answer to your question. We had to do it. We had to do something. So I did something as his wife, and I reassured him, you are still the head of my house, period. Whether you walk or not, you're still the head of my house.
Wow.
And because that's how we operate our house. Everybody survives their marriage by how they operate. I say, you're still the head of my house.
There you
And I don't care if you got to make the decisions from the wheelchair. We're gonna have you sharp in your tennis gear that you wore before you were paralyzed, and we're gonna have you making the decisions that you were making before you were paralyzed. I have a great husband. I'll say that.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful, man.
Yeah, I have a great husband, and I wasn't taking anything from him. How dare you take something from somebody because they don't have a physical ability? They still have their mental capability.
go.
So I decided that's how it's going to be, and then we just moved forward. When he told me to make a decision, I said, "No, you're the man,"
Mm,
and that's nothing to do with sexism and all this stuff, whatever. That has something to do with our marriage. This
mm.
is our story. That's our marriage. And I said to him, "You're the man."
That's
And
respect.
then, in short, you the man.
You the man. You the man.
Yeah.
Boy,
So,
that,
anyway, I don't get off, but it's gonna be a great book because it's a great story
mm.
that only God can help us through. And I'm
So what?
telling you,
What's the the title yet?
yeah, tennis Jones, tennis Jones, yeah, tennis Jones, and
So
then
I'm just letting you know we inviting you back up whenever you do get finished. Whatever if you
okay,
want to share it, help promote it in any kind of way.
Oh,
yeah,
whenever you want to come up. Whenever.
What's up? You already know you made it a couple of lives, so you already fam now. And the thing is, we appreciate you because we appreciate the support, and you're
yeah,
definitely encouraging others. Watching the chat, I'm watching people giving you praise, giving you support. Not just you, but you and your great king. Mad love to the king of tennis, the one that don't give up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
don't give up, yeah,
And, and,
yep, tennis Jones,
Tennis Jones, Tennis Jones,
Dennis
it is.
Jones got to get them shirts made.
Got to
Dennis
get it, Tennis
yeah,
Jones.
yeah,
Yeah.
tennis
But
Jones,
one thing I wanted to definitely say to you, please continue to be a beacon, continue to be a light, continue to shine your light amongst others, because this within itself, I know it has helped people in the chat, and for those that will be on the replay, I know it's going to help them as well. And if y'all know somebody who may be going through a situation like this, or because I'm quite sure people go through this every day, if you want to give this or share this as a word of encouragement to them, I think this will be very encouraging because there's hope on the other side. We just saw it. We just saw it. There's hope on the other side.
and we do a little lesson together called the daily bread because people think just food. Gigi, you all know this. You all d- do the water fast. So
Mhm.
you don't necessarily need that physical bread, you know, to make it through and to be fulfilled. Sometimes you need that mental fortitude, that spiritual bread. So
Nothing else
the
to add right
daily,
behind that.
Mm.
yeah,
It's,
the
it's,
daily,
it's just like the creator. The creator is what? It's the head.
Mm.
that's
And
it.
where do we go if the head does not know where to go? So you gotta have that wholeness, that purity, that strength of the head. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, in the daily bread, our next session, we have two coming up, one for back to school for the kids and one for just to encourage people. And guess what? The topic is hope. So when you said hope, it made me think about that. It made me think about it. So yeah, guys, it's what we put in our bodies. And since then, I gained a lot of weight while we were going through that
Mhm.
because he said, I know you were panicking. And I was like, I wasn't panicking. Like, and guess what? It was showing on my butt the whole time that I was panicking because I was eating and just sitting down and just going to sleep and just making it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I gained a lot of weight and now that I've lost now 45 pounds. By the time I posted on the page at Auntie Bev's Jones page, I had lost probably 43 or 44, but now 45 pounds and every day. And I eat the food that I post.
Mm,
I mean, some people look at it. Somebody went on the page. I'm sorry for jumping, but somebody went on my page and said, on my channel and said, you don't lose weight like that. I was like, that is a lie because I've just done it and still doing it. Every other day, I'm losing ounces.
mm,
So that's my motivation to someone in the chat. I don't care if you got 5 pounds to lose.
mm,
If 5 pounds is hard to lose when you're running that treadmill, I went at my highest weight and got on that treadmill and I said to myself, you're going to do, what did I say, 2 miles. And my husband, who's very, even more athletic than have ever been, said, you sure you're going to do 2 miles? Like you got to build up to that, right? Because he's not going to tell you what you can't do. He didn't tell me I couldn't do it. He was like, are you sure?
mm,
And I said, I'm doing 2 miles,
mm,
period. Period. He liked to say period. I was like, period. And so, and so I went up there and I did about 5 minutes and I got off that treadmill. Cause guess what? The treadmill is not the thing that makes me lose weight.
mm,
So you remember I said I write books. So I wrote something. I wrote something about me feeding him. I'm eating and losing weight too. That's what I wrote. I'm eating and losing weight too. He's eating as a skinny person. You all didn't see his little body. He, but it's muscular. Don't make me drop the pigs now. He's yeah, but he's eating and maintaining his athletic stature, and I'm eating and losing weight, trying to get back to my athletic stature. We're eating the same things,
mm,
and he's not losing weight, and I'm losing weight.
mm.
So
Reset.
I had to crack the code on what works for me, is my point.
Yeah.
That part.
And
That part.
that what works for me is the same thing that works for any of us. You know that? Because the doctors are telling us, just look at a doctor. He's telling you the same thing. But we say, oh, I don't want to eat lettuce. Mm-mm. I don't want to eat this. I want to eat that. Even when we grow it, I'll drop the pictures. You all don't see me put my garden pictures. Gigi taught me uh, what I can do when I first started my patio garden. And then I asked Eco and Gigi when I got ready to do my raised bed gardens. And I did that. M- My plight is not to post everything about gardens because you guys are doing an awesome job. And I don't know that I want to go to the level that you are at. I just want the food. So I don't know about all the stuff that you all do to showcase your garden. You're doing a great job, but my job is to do the rest of the stuff that I want to do and use the garden stories, nature stories, all of those to teach other stuff. And along with me sewing. So when you see me post books, I know it's not popular for people to go to YouTube just to sit there for a book. I'm silly. I joke. I'm trying to compose myself now, but I joke just about everything I say. I spit out a joke, because that's what keeps me happy. And I'm telling you, when you look at that, this is not to get your money. Uh, when I print these books, I print these books and it costs. Everything has gone up, but I do one better. Instead of charging $25 for kids' books like people do, I go get the book, find a printer who could print my book at the lowest cost possible right now. And I print those books and I keep a few on the side. And then after that, then it goes back to cost because I can't pay for you to have the book. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
can't pay for you to have the book, but I do that because my channel says that I'm here to leave a legacy of love. And that means if people can't read the stuff that I write,
Yeah.
they can't get the legacy that I'm leaving.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so I'm trying to bring it down. So when you see the cost, don't say I'm money hungry because I have been living with this retired man for 13 years. Okay. And I've been married to this man over 20 years because the people in the hospital thought, okay, I'm just getting paid by him. Look, getting paid by him. And no, he's more than my sugar daddy. That's my man. That's my yeah, that's my man. And I'm his lady. So guys, I've said enough. I could talk all day. I could do this all day. So I think I've said enough, but I thank you for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about it. And no, we did not plan this. He started talking about preservatives and I started talking about my life. So so thank you for giving me that space and opportunity.
No,
Absolutely.
thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's
And
the
we
food. It's the food. Watch your food. Grow your
yeah,
food.
Absolutely.
watch,
The food.
watch. So thank you, Auntie Bev. We getting ready to get ready to downshift and transition, but thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you all. Thank you, chat.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So there you have it, y'all. It's we're gonna leave on a positive that we don't know what happens, but I did want to kind of close this thing up by sharing some certain things. So this particular, we was talking about forever chemicals, right? Forever chemicals, just to make you aware, just to allow you to be aware, do your own research. The World Health Organization got a lot of information about it. There's a lot of other resources out there, but just check on it. And then for those of you all who are starting your journey on this homestead journey, or if you're thinking about buying land, you're thinking about looking at land, make sure you get your water tested. Please get your water tested because it's really affecting small rural communities. It's not always these big, large communities. Granted, there are a lot, but there's the big impact has been where they found around military bases and also around old manufacturing. So some of the products and some of the things that this chemical was heavily used. And let me go back to the military bases. The reason why it's been big on the military bases because military base have utilized a lot of, apparently they have a lot of fires, but they say it's due to the foam that's in the fire to retard fires, to stop fires. So that foam that they spray out there,
wow,
that foam has a lot of that chemical in there.
Double-edged sword.
Yes.
How can something so great be so deadly long term?
And then I know that ain't my partner right there.
Hey, Juan.
Come on, Juan. What's up, Juan?
Thank you, Chris White. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Thank you,
hey, Chris
Brother
White.
Lawrence.
And we got GT, my boy GT
Jr.
from the GA or OGGA, from right up the road where we grew up at, man. I saw Chris White. Thank you for coming in, Chris White. I thought I saw somebody else that I did. If I didn't speak to you, it's not intentionally. M. Edwards, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in. But so we got food packaging, pizza boxes, food wrappers, takeout containers, all this little waxy stuff. All that little nice waxy stuff, be careful of that.
Oh, the microwave popcorn bags.
Microwave popcorn. Inside, you know how it's waxy on the inside there?
Oh my gosh.
Be careful, y'all. And then you have, because this kind of ties in what we're saying. Some people, I remember at one time, what it was, at one time there was a big thing about dieting and eating popcorn as a meal replacement.
They keep telling you that this is not good for you, but they weren't saying why.
Why?
They were just saying, and then I think also they were trying to put it off on like just the microwave, but it was not just the microwave.
Not just the radiation, but can you imagine?
We started with the children even. We bought one of our daughters a popcorn popper, like just a
we started on top of
tabletop
the
side. Yeah, started on top of the stove.
And
then we bought her a popcorn popper. And because she loved popcorn, and we were just like, they keep saying, don't do this. Don't do the microwave popcorn. So we just bought her the popcorn popper, and that's where she went with it from there. And we, when we would have parties and family gatherings and get-togethers and stuff, she would make everybody popcorn and getting make different little flavorings and stuff to go on the popcorn. So there are ways to do everything. How you doing, David Corey?
Hey, what's up? So those things, you got baking bags as well. Those baking bags, the non-stick, what they call Teflon, is in high amounts of that. And
that's why we've been getting our game up on our cookware, our old school cookware, all of that type of stuff. All of that makes a difference. It's like there are chemicals everywhere. They literally everywhere. We're just surrounded. And so we have to be conscientious about what we cook in, about the things that we put on us.
You remember everything. The oils? We use oils instead of the non-stick. You know, you put me up on the grapeseed oil and all the different types of oils.
With oils, your avocado oils, your coconut oils. They like, and pay attention also. This is why we have to read the back of packaging and stuff. And I know it's annoying and I know it takes extra time. But when you read the back of those packages and stuff, you start to see all of this soybean. You start to see everything is made from soy. They put soy in everything. And then wonder why people's behavior changes to stuff that's just not natural to them. So all of this soy and stuff, men especially, get away from the soy. Get away from those oils that are made from soy. Get away from the foods that have soy in them. That stuff, it is not good for you. It ain't good for us either. You know, women with different types of hormone issues, but men, this stuff is changing you. Get away from that stuff.
So M. Edwards says, I thought non-stick was okay as long as it. So first of all, before we go in there, we are not saying this is or not. We're just sharing what we read. Another thing with non-stick, have you ever noticed the more you use it, the less it's effective? Mm-hmm. Where is that non-stick going? Where is that coating going?
Where is it going?
I mean, heat and chemicals.
It's going to break everything.
It's going to change the molecular structure of anything. Mm-hmm. That's just like you can have some great vegetables that's good for you, or even meats. Certain meats may be good for you, but they say once you apply a certain amount, a level of heat, you can transition the whole dynamics of everything.
Absolutely.
You know, there's plasticware that's not harmful until you heat it.
When you heat it.
When you heat it, you're breaking down the molecular structure, you're breaking down the whole build of it. So those are things we just have to be. I don't know. I'm just asking M. Edwards if it's not harmful to you until it's damaged. Sometimes we scrape the plate.
Do you know when it's really damaged?
Yeah.
Do you know if
when it stops sticking?
Okay, but is it before then? Yeah. Listen, the lies run deep out here, guys.
And let me share something else with you. This whole chemical situation, right? They knew when they first did it, right? They knew about that back in the 40s. It was revealed to the company that bought it in the 70s. The company that bought it knew it, and they could trace all of this. Then going all the way up to the late 90s to the early 2000s, it was revealed what was going on. No, some news make it, some news don't make it, right? But then on top of that, guess what happened? These cities and counties have been doing testing after testing, finding out why is there such a high concentration of cancer patients? Why are there sickness in our communities and we noticing they're the same sickness, the same results. They've been doing testing, and there's a lot of communities. If you go to the World Health Organization, or even if you go and you can quote Google forever chemicals and communities, what communities are heavily impacted, or you can even narrow it down by your state. Just say we live in the state of Florida. In the state of Florida, where is the highest concentration of forever chemicals? Mm-hmm. Do a search on that, and then what you'll do, you'll start seeing communities. And if you go and look, and this is what I do. I know it's kind of crazy, but what I do, I look at some of the cities, and then I go and look and do a history search on some of the cities. And most of those either had military bases or they had some type of manufacturing, that they were big on manufacturing. Mm. And you notice a lot of these places, the manufacturer, they just kind of leave the building, and the building just fall apart, and it's still remnants there. but it's going into the soil, it's going into the water aquifers, and then guess what's happening? We are digesting it. So just be mindful of that, y'all. Some things we can't do too much about, but then we can place ourselves, because if you do think about buying some land and there was a heavy concentration in that area, you might want to consider maybe looking at a different location, because we all know that the majority of the world population has it, but it's a long-term effect. So just be mindful. You don't want to put yourself in a real bad, high, contaminated area, and you just want to keep that in mind, because another thing, a lot of times they give you a lot of grants, a lot of discounts, the government will give you a lot of incentives, or hey, if you dig a well in this county, they knock off such and such. When you visiting the county and you asking the Department of Health and permits and all that kind of stuff, if they start telling you about different incentives, the different things they can help you with digging a well, it's probably funded by something type of lawsuit.
And that's a good question to add to your list of things to ask when you are when you're researching a piece of land. When you're researching a city, that's a great thing to add. Is ask the health department, has there been, or go to the local environmental protection agency in your area and ask, has there been any contamination to the water here in the last 20 years? They'll be able to tell you.
Yeah. And another thing is, don't sleep on your well diggers. Ask the well diggers in a very creative way. So try this. I'm interested in digging a well over at such and such location. Do you all have any grants or anything out there to help with the cost of digging wells? They know whether there are grants out there, whether there's refunds or different things like that, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, actually that area has a such and such. What are you thinking about? Such and such, such. And then it leads you to investigate, to be, well, okay, why are they giving me grants? Why are they giving me these subsidies? Why are they promoting certain things? So those are hints. People just don't give you something for nothing.
Exactly.
It's always something.
Exactly.
You can get reduced costs.
Ain't nothing free.
Get grants to do this and get grants to do that. Yeah, but why? You have to ask people why they're coming. Right?
Yes.
So with that said, I hope y'all having a beautiful day. We're going to end on a good note. We got Auntie Bev. Y'all go check out Auntie Bev. What a fascinating story. What a beautiful testimony. If y'all didn't catch the testimony, go back and replay. Man, if that's not motivational, I don't know what is motivational. And we got FR. FR says, what you say, FR? What you say? Groundwater testing is happening all the time. Your state environmental agency has the results.
Yes.
You have to ask, and it's public record, y'all.
Yeah.
They are required. They are required to share that information with you. But they're not required to just tell you all the times if you're not impacted. So you don't live there, so they're not required to tell you nothing. The worst thing you can do is you live there, and then now you find out about all the information. So be proactive, y'all. Exactly. Something for nothing. Nothing. Yeah, exactly. You're not getting something for nothing.
Never. Ever.
I get it. It's cheaper.
Ever.
It's cheaper, but is it really cheaper? That's a little true. You're buying a piece of
land.
That's why
we don't want nothing free.
The history of the property. Was it a previous building site? Has the landfill? Oh, happy man. I gotta get happy on something. I don't know. I gotta get this. I gotta get happy on. Let me tell you about a city that we know of, that we used to live in. They are notorious for having landfills. And we're talking about decades. We're not talking overnight. Notorious for having landfills. And this landfill keep expanding, right? But they have phases of it. So 1 year, if you hang around this town, 1 year you'll go and you'll be dumping in one location. Then you see these pipes all out the ground. And sometimes you might even see a pipe with a fire at the end, because they're getting rid of those gases, those toxic gases, right? They're releasing those gases from burying the debris. And then eventually, if you wait, it becomes a park.
Mm.
Then eventually you wait, part of that park becomes a neighborhood. Then eventually you wait, it moves and moves and moves. What I'm trying to say is, people, before you buy, whether you're in the city, you don't even have to buy, check your historical background of that piece of property. You could be buying a neighborhood, and I'm not talking about no weak, low-end type homes. I'm talking about nice million, $500,000 on up homes. But that was a landfill. And I just so happened to be around to know that was a landfill. I mean, beautiful ponds, community pools, community recreation, tennis courts, all of that stuff. But it was a dump. And I just don't believe I lived long enough for that stuff to deteriorate and to rot. I get pipes are in the ground and they might have this coating, they have this and that, but what are you coating to keep it off? That acid, them toxic chemicals, they break down some stuff. That's what it's designed to. Doing that rotting, that decomposing process, that's heat, and it's burning it away. It's burning all that stuff, breaking all that stuff down. So yeah, I will. Let's see. I will come on sometime. I'm working. Okay. Let me be your encouragement. Okay. Let me be your encouragement.
We have a park here called Mount Trashmore in Virginia Beach.
What? Who said that?
That's Maisie. Wow.
What?
Wow.
And the crazy thing, you'll find out. You'll find out those neighborhoods long after when that phase out, man, they become a desirable neighborhood for sure. For sure. They put golf course, of course, yes, sir. Golf, tennis courts. They put basketball courts. They put in all that. What do they call the where you hit the ball against the wall? They do a full. They even do walking trails, nature trails. They even put some wetlands over there where it can seep down, and then now they done purify it, clean up. Man, it's beautiful now. Don't get me wrong, but I just so remember 20 years ago, it was something else. It can be a beautiful thing. We still have to do. I think someone said something perfectly. Do we have an overpopulation of people based on land? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. I think what we do, we have a high concentration of people on top of people in certain areas. So I think the biggest problem, we don't want to get out and sprawl. Well, I don't want to drive that far. We don't want to work. Yeah, we don't want to work towards building and establish, and we can create communities, and it'll take over our lifetime to get those communities up and going. But I think we just compacted on top of each other. We just that's the reason why we got anger, we got chemicals in our food, we got bad food deserts. We frustrated. We all competing. Have you ever woke up every morning and know you have to compete? I think we all have to do that in so many ways, but it shouldn't be the totality of your whole life. You know, it got to be some type of relaxation to your life. You know, some time where you can sit down wherever you are without looking over your shoulder, without having that swivel head. It got to be somewhere you got to have just a piece of peace.
Eco-nation.
Create your eco-nation when you are creating. All right, y'all. We're getting ready to get out of here. We thank you so much for hanging out. We thank you so much for being with us here on Eco Nation News. Y'all stay tuned next week. If the Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be right back on time. Chef Pam said that.
If the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
And Chef Pam, I ain't
we just from South Georgia.
From South Georgia. Now we grew up like that.
Just a saying here.
Hey, we grew up like that. You know, I'm not trying to offend nobody, y'all, but make sure, man, as my good friend Warren says, make sure that y'all keep on growing. Grow. Eco neighbor.
Bye guys.
Grow. Y'all take care.